Hi everyone, my name is Nate and I chose to interview my brother Miles Glenn, who is a sous chef at a restaurant up in Anchorage, Alaska, where I grew up. The restaurant he works at is called Kinley's. It's a casual fine dining restaurant, very popular amongst tourists and locals up there. He works under a chef named Brett Myers, who's from Chicago, worked at Charlie Trotter's for a while, and then went up to Alaska to open Kinley's. I chose to interview my brother because although I know him well personally, I've never actually worked with him directly in a kitchen. I was kind of curious as to how, he likes to run things and all that. I've heard mostly good things from people who've worked under him. I chose to keep the questions somewhat short, 7 interview questions, but they're very vague, so he could have went a lot of different ways with them, and they're also questions where you could get a lot of information out of them. But he's been a sous chef there for 5 years, worked there total for 7, and basically has all the responsibilities and duties as a chef and runs the place completely when the chef's gone. He creates new menu items, hires people, fires people, pretty much everything. First question I started out asking him was, how does he deal with the stress of being a manager? What does he use to cope with that? He first stressed a lot that what he likes to do first is to never get in a position where there's a lot of stress. He kind of likes to try and eliminate as much stress as possible so he doesn't have to cope with it. So to do that, he said he likes to be prepared, likes to prep a lot, make sure he has everything ready to go, get as much done as he can in advance, and get ahead of time, just be ready for what's going to come. Also said time management is very key. Do everything, do as much as you can. Also, being rested, he said, is great because you want to do the best job you can. It's hard to do that sometimes when you're not rested. You get enough rest, and you're putting yourself in a better position to do a good job. Asked him, how hard is it to find good employees up there? How difficult is it? And what do you do to keep them? He said that finding employees is actually the hardest thing he has to deal with at the job because it's hard to find. He said it's hard to find people that can cook at the level that he wants to put on the menu. He said sometimes he's actually had to almost dumb down a dish because it was just too much for the employees he had. He couldn't do it. He also said it's a problem too because he gets employees trained and then they want to jump and go to another restaurant after because they already know everything and they can find another job. So that's been an issue for him too, just keeping a lot of employees on staff. He said what he does to motivate people is basically find out what drives them, what keeps them there, what makes them happy, and then he tries to, accommodate them basically. Some people want more money than others. Some people care more about money. Some people want to work less. Some people want to work more. Some people want a certain schedule. He just said he tries to, accommodate them, make them happy. Next question I asked him, what issues has he faced when training people and motivating the staff, and what has he learned from it, basically. He said that sanitation's been a huge issue for him. A lot of the people he hires don't have good sanitation or just don't care enough about sanitation to, adapt, learn, adjust what they're doing so their sanitation's good. He said to do that, he just had honest conversations with them, been very blunt. Uh, Asked him, what mistakes has he made early as a manager, what did he do, and how would he do them differently now. He said he first used to not ever tell anyone to do anything he wouldn't do himself, but over time, he felt like that's all right to do. It's just about earning the employees' respect first, and then delegating basically tasks to certain people. Find someone what they're good at and have them do that. Stress that training is essential. Make sure the employees have the proper training. and he used to always assume, someone had on the resume that they could do something well, but he came to find out a lot of times they couldn't. So basically, he always assumed that they can't do something well and trains them first, and basically waits until they can show him that they can do it well before he, accepts it. I asked him what's his personal philosophy on managing. He said he likes to give people very clear expectations. He thinks all employees want to know what's expected of them so they can do the job well. And he always give them chances, said, but after 2 chances, hold them accountable for their actions, but give them lots of guidance and training along the way, so hopefully they won't make mistakes and won't have to give second chances. But he said after 2 chances, that's when he holds them accountable and possibly has the discipline in them. I asked him what has worked well for him in managing and what hasn't. He said he thinks getting to know employees is very important. Get what drives them, what makes them tick. He likes to be firm with people, likes to be honest. He'll hear out both sides of any kind of issue that arises. He feels that firing is actually a failure on the management part too, so he tries to do his best to make sure that doesn't happen. Firing is, for him, is the absolute last resort and hates doing it. The last question I asked was, what do you like and dislike about managing? He said he loves to see people succeed and live up to their potential. He likes to push them so they can achieve their goals. Doesn't like people who don't want to pull their weight or work. He said he's had a lot of issues with people just being lazy and just not even trying. He likes when he's part of a productive team and they complete a great service, or they cater at the restaurant too. When they have a great catering event, everything goes smooth. He loves that. Just loves being part of a productive, efficient, and good team, and the customers are happy with it. He likes to see people do more. Likes to see people move up in positions and all that. I really enjoyed interviewing my brother because it gave me more information on him. I didn't know a whole lot about how he ran things, so I really enjoyed this assignment.